David Moyes takes charge of what could be his final game as West Ham manager, as West Ham host Everton to end the 2017-18 season at the London Stadium. Not a great season. It's been a season to remember for West Ham fans amid trouble settling in at London Stadium and a long, if ultimately successful, fight against relegation, frustrating a section of our beloved West Ham support. The interesting thing is David Moyes' contract expires this summer, but he exclusively wrote in an article this week that he'd be willing to stay if common goals were agreed with the club, which is an interesting kind of story that's coming out of the club. Well, Moyes' fate is uncertain. One thing we do know for sure is Wayne Rooney's off because he looks like he's agreed a deal to go to DC United in America. So what we're going to be losing, whatever you call Wayne Rooney, is he a legend in your eyes? Is he a pain in the arse in your eyes? Whatever. The man's going to be leaving the Premier League and heading off to America. Another interesting fact before I keep wambling on is Sam Allardyce returns to West Ham, which is going to be another interesting atmosphere to see if all angles of the fans are going to be against them, including his own current team, Everton's fans. Anyway, I have spoken a lot. You are with Irons United. I've got Luke beside me. Luke, Everton, thoughts on the game, last game of the season?
Yeah, it's be good to finally get the season over with, to be honest with you. It hasn't obviously been great and all that, but I think that it's good that we're not fighting in a relegation battle, and there'll be less nerves. It'd be kind of like not a celebration, but it'll be kind of nice to just sort of see the season out, if you know what I mean. We can actually finish a lot higher than I think any of us ever thought we would have this season. Thinking a few weeks back, it's just going to have a bit of a not a party vibe, but I think we can just sort of like relax and just let our hair down a little bit and think, you know what, let's just go out on a high, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can play a bit of football and get a good result out of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've come off of a lackluster draw yesterday. But I'm going to put this point over to you because I know you want to get your kind of point across regarding the Manchester United game. So off you go,
Yeah.
Luke, let the fans know. Before you go, make sure you come into our chat. Make sure you start typing some stuff below. Make sure you've subscribed to our channel because we're getting a hell of a lot more views than what we have got subscribers. So subscribe to our channel and hit the thumbs up. Look, Manchester United last night, go for it.
Only subscribe if you want to. We're not making you, Just, no, look, I went to the game last night actually with a bit of a spring in my step because I thought myself, finally, I'm not going to a game racked with nerves. I'm not going to a game where I'm thinking he shouldn't play this player, he shouldn't play that player, and all the rest of it. I've just kind of, once we were safe, I gave up. I was just like, okay, that's fine. I haven't got to worry anymore. It's a weight off my shoulders. And you know what? I'm going to watch a game of football, watch a game of kickball. Just relax and sit there and say, I paid my money this year. I've not enjoyed it, but let's just try and get the best out of this. And let's just say, you know what? We haven't got to do what we did against Man City. We haven't got to try and concede less than X amount of goals. We can just go there and see the players play a bit of football, which for me is what they did. We didn't see any. The players looked more relaxed. There was more football being played. Even my best mate João Mario seemed to have a pretty good game of football. He had some nice touches, but it was nice that if they conceded, okay, so they can they score a goal, whatever. But it was just kind of nice to just sit there and just go, do you know what? We're not sitting back and just waiting for them to press and attacking us. I'm just get there to watch a game. And let's put this perspective is that okay, might have been there for the taking. It was a bit of a boring game and all this and all that lot, but compared to what the season has been, that's a relief to watch just a normal game of football. I mean, most West Ham fans that I know would kind of take a mid-table finish, and you're not going to be going hair raising, going for every ball if you're trying to finish mid-table every season. So it was just nice to go to a game and not have to worry about the result, and see the players a bit more relaxed and a bit more, bit more passing going on and all that sort of stuff.
I get your sentiment, and I do get that. Look, I do understand that it's been we all know, I suppose it's a tough season, and going to the game yesterday, unfortunately, again, never managed to go to the game all this Sunday. Going to the games this season haven't been fun, and I suppose going there with a breath of fresh air, spring in your step, knowing that we're safe, but just can't help but have this weird feeling about what's about to come. You know, I feel like it's more reminiscent about the season. When I was watching the game last night, it was more like what if rather than the game itself. So I get your point. I get you're living the moment when you're in the stadium. We're kind of caught up in the current circumstances, the chances galore. When I said it was a boring game, I think I was more referencing the fact that there was nothing really memorable from it, apart from when Mark Noble decided to romantically kiss Paul Pogba near the end of the game. If none of you have seen that social media post that going around today, it's a great post. But for me, yeah, it was just a bit, I don't know, nothing to play for. Both teams. I get it. I get your point.
I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying that people who are moaning about it shouldn't be moaning about it. We've all got opinions, and I respect everyone for having their opinion. But I'm just trying to have a bit more, say, perspective on it. That, you know, compared to what we have watched this season, it's nice to get a 0-0 and just to see a bit of kickball, where we're not like, you know, tender hooks on every challenge being made, every shot being taken, every tackle loss. It was just different, and for me, it was a nice difference. That's just my opinion anyway. But I respect that people have opinions. I respect that.
No, definitely. I mean, Everton Sunday, final game of the season. Let's rewind back to last year and remember our final game of the season against the Everton's rivals Liverpool. It wasn't the greatest of send-offs to the Olympic Stadium. Let's hope we don't have a repeat of that. I suppose the big question, we've mentioned it, is Sam Allardyce returns to West Ham. The potential for these two managers not to be in charge of their clubs next season is high. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, how do West Ham go into this game? There's rumours today that Jordan Hugo is potentially going to get a little bit of a chance, and my word, like, why not?
Why not? I think you can kind of give most fringe players a chance. Unfortunately for Hugo, I think I kind of think maybe we've called the owner's bluff. I think the owners were thinking we're going down here. We got to sign the Championship player that knows the league and all sorts of stuff like that. So they probably had a defeatist attitude themselves, and unfortunately for the lad, he's to put it. But you know, in many ways, would you rather be playing first team football for Preston in Championship or sitting on the bench in the Premier League wage for Premier League West Ham? That's the only plus point for him, possibly. But yeah, it would be nice to see Hugo play, plus others, maybe Cullen as well in the midfield. Rice has obviously been playing, so there's no reason to ask for him to play as he's already in there. But yeah, it would be nice. So obviously, you mentioned about the managers. I think out of the two managers, with Moyes and Allardyce, I think Moyes is probably more desperate for a new job than Allardyce will be. He seems to sort of have a type retirement package to sit on and just come out of retirement when he wants to, when he needs to, when he's called upon. But I don't think Moyes is going to have that many clubs running after him in the summer. He possibly will be another sort of Mark Hughes, Tony Pulis type manager where he'll get a job just to keep a team up, which he has done with us. But I find it very funny, but that he's in this interview he's saying, "Oh, I've got other jobs elsewhere. If West Ham don't want to renew mine." I'd love to know what that club is. I'd love to know who that board, you know, that chairman who wants to suddenly grab David Moyes, because for us, you know, he's done his job, but in the most unprettiest style there was. So, you know, if he gets a new job, then may God have mercy on their souls football-wise, because I can't see them they're set of fans, whoever they are, loving his appointment. But fair play to the bloke if he goes. Hopefully we get someone in better.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
It's kind of, I mean, probably building up to be the battle of the managers. Really, at the end of the day, it's a little bit like no one really cares about the game. I mean, like you said, look at the beginning of the programme. We can potentially finish 10th. I mean, the chances of finishing 10th are low, but the fact is we still can finish 10th. That's the difference of several £1 million to the club, and we know our owners are going to be chasing every single penny possible. So to finish off in a high, you know, it's something that they're going to push for. But one thing I'm going to say is, obviously it's rumoured that Jordan Hugo's going to get run out. Is it written in the stars that this guy comes on, does really well, West Ham keep him, don't go into the transfer market in the summer, and then we're left with this situation? I mean, I'm not trying to be so negative. I'm willing to give this summer a shot. I'm willing to. I've got no choice in the
Yeah.
matter, but I'm not going to drag my heels and moan through the whole summer unless the board don't back up what they do. But is it written in the stars for Jordan Hugo? Is it written in the stars for the board?
I think both points, possibly, yeah. And it wasn't patronising at all, what you just said there for Hugo. Look, you know, you're saying 7 million there, but we paid 9 million for the geezer. So it's still not enough to buy Jordan Hugo another one.
Yeah.
But if he comes on, scores a goal, and if he is the main man next year up front, if he scores goals and does his job, I'm all for it. I don't care how much it costs. Seriously, if you can put the ball in the back of the onion bag, then you're good enough for me. And that's what most West Ham strikers don't seem to do, or at least the ones that do don't get a chance to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, like a certain someone, not going to mention his name because I'll just make you cry again about it. So, yeah, yeah. But like you say, if he's the main man, look, we both know that the owners probably won't spend much money. If they do, it ain't going to be a lot. So we've got him there. He'll be dying for a chance to get on that pitch and at least show what he's got, even if he don't score a goal. So why not tomorrow? Why not? Done.
I think there's a lot of fans in the lead up to this game that are thinking that this could be a final farewell, not just to the manager but to quite a few of our squad. I mean, there's a lot of. I think in the most ideal world, in my opinion, we would have a big clear out and replace them. I'm not too sure that's going to happen. Do you see it as a final farewell for players on the level of Kouati, Cresswell, Andy Carroll? Is this going to be their farewell game? And I mean, and I am going to mention his name, and it looks like he's not even going to play, and it's Hernandez. And if he doesn't play, because he is injured, or whether he is or not, what a shit farewell for a club that actually, a group of fans that actually love the little geezer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you say love the little geezer, but I've seen quite a few and heard quite a few supporters call him useless and a waste of money, which I find that baffling. But like I say, everyone's got an opinion. I respect everyone's opinion. But look, the whole club needs a revamp. And if these players are to be sold, then we need to bring better in, or at least players that will be at their level. We've got a lot of players in our team who haven't got anywhere near fulfilling their potential. For example, Kouati hasn't been anywhere near his top standard this year, maybe even for a couple of years now. Hernandez can stay on, but it's whether we use him right. You know, he's going to be wasted talent again if we don't build a team around him, and that's what he needs. You know, you got other players, you know, who, if they're moved on, the money has to be right, and the investment in replacements has to be there. So it's fine saying goodbye to these players, but if we're just going to sell them for a profit and then just dilly-dally about who we bring in for them, then they might as well have stayed. But it's also about, I think, it's about the players. The players want to play for the club, they'll stay, or they'll at least play a bit better to try and get in with the club. But it's a merry-go-round. The summer's going to be, with the World Cup as well, so many opportunities for players to be highlighted and to come into the fold and to show what they've got. And, you know, there's good players in that team that we don't want to lose, and there's players that we're comfortable with losing. And it'd be so West Ham to let the players go that we want to stay, and then the players we don't want to go will stay. So I think it will be a farewell. I don't know. I can't really I know there'll be 2 or 3 players that will be going, but I'm not too sure about the others, like you mentioned. I can see Kouati staying unless we get a decent offer for him. But again, if he goes, he goes. Simple as that.
It's just going to be a really, really, really interesting summer. I know this is the Everton preview, but we are safe. There's nothing else to play for, except for a couple of £1 million, but not goes in our pocket, goes in owners' pockets. But I suppose at the end of the day, yeah, I think personally we are going to. I tell you what, I'm going to say it. I'm just going to put it out there, and you've heard it here first. In my opinion, this is what I think is going to happen. I reckon quite quickly after the Everton game, we're going to hear that David Moyes is going to leave the club. I just have this little feeling that he is going to leave the club, because I believe that if the board wanted him and we're going to back him, they would have came out and said what they've said when we were safe and committed to it, which would have then given the squad of players who were going to stay strength, or the confidence in the fact that the manager moving forward, players will know what they're going to do. What's going to happen also is, because we're in a World Cup year, you're going to find that you tend to get a lot of transfers done quite early. It's not all, but quite a few done quite early before the World Cup, and then obviously you'll be having whoever our manager is over there trying to buy some of the top quality players. So I reckon that this could be the goodbye for Moyes, and personally I'd be quite happy if it was the goodbye for Moyes. A lot of people are saying on social media though that he came in and never got a fair crack at the whip. Sorry, but I don't know if I buy that. He was given some money. He spent £9 million on Jordan Hugo. There was other players available. We knew they were available. It came out in the general media that players were available that we could have signed and we didn't sign. Got to remember players like Robert Snodgrass are out on loan. He could come back, and it's just going to be such an interesting summer. So I predict Moyes is not actually going to be our manager. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, it's quite funny really, because you mentioned he's not going to be staying on. Obviously Everton are probably not going to keep Allardyce the way things are going. Possibly the team that's going to be going for him is Everton. There could be a comeback on the cards that the guy who, with as much respect as I can give to Everton fans and the club itself, probably gave them the most memorable years while he was their manager, getting into the Champions League and what have you, or just getting into the Champions League. I can't remember if they did or not. But maybe there is a return on the cards for him. He knows the club. He might even know the players that want to come back and play for him and him. So yeah, it's just with the World Cup, it throws things out because people don't know about players staying, players going, being available for transfers, all this and all that. But it's a 50-50 with me, because I think if he does stay, it'll be a cheap decision by the board because he's already there. He's not going to ask for a lot more money. Well, he shouldn't do anyway. But yeah, there's a possibility that if he goes, for me, it could be back to Everton if Allardyce don't stay. I wouldn't be surprised with either outcome, to be honest with you. But it would be very interesting.
There's no other choice. The two outcomes.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I know. Listen, let's get back onto Everton. We've got players, like I said, potentially going to say goodbye to. We don't even know if Joe Hart is even going to be. I mean, there's rumours that he's potentially going to be at the club, potentially not at the club. Is David Moyes going to give Joe Hart a last run out under the claret and blue of West Ham, or the luminous yellow he wears?
Well, same as Adrian. I hope to God he doesn't, because I think that after Adrian's safety pulled off last night, he deserves his chance to go out in the bang as well. I mean, there are rumours that he might be leaving in the summer because he won't be happy with not being first choice. But then if Hart leaves, then it's more room for him unless we get a top goalkeeper that is past Adrian's ability, as surpasses it. So, I think Hart has played his last game, and I think that Adrian deserves to stay in goal. But I'm going to say that because I'm an Adrian fan, another geezer, obviously, as everyone knows. So I think Hart's played his last game. I think Hernandez has played his last game. Unfortunately, Hernandez. Fortunately, Hart. I don't hate Joe Hart. I think he's been fine with us. I think he's been kind of like a model professional and what have you. But it wasn't my choice to come in the first place, and he's not pulled up any trees for me. Made a few good saves here and there, but he's not really done anything for me to say, you'll definitely keep him on in the summer. So, if it is, farewell Hart for me.
Everton players we need to really worry about. Not that we look like we really care much.
No, look, respect to Everton because they're where they are, and if I'm honest, I think that there's almost like a fickleness with fans. I think when Allardyce was first hired by them this season, they looked almost down and out and destined for a relegation battle, and within a few months they were mid-table and possibly even a few games away from replacing Burnley in the Europa League places. It's only been a few points out that they're not going to get there. But obviously Allardyce doesn't put up trees over there. He plays in fans with the style of football, what have you. I think obviously Rooney isn't playing, so that's a player that would normally score against us.
It looks like
but they've got
Sigurdsson's out also.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, it's one of them games where I think he'll probably put out maybe a few youth players for them as well. One player I would like, actually, I am going to worry about is Davis, I think his name is, the blonde-haired geezer in midfield.
Yeah, yeah.
Score against Southampton. I really like him. I'd love West Ham to buy him. Every game I see him, his industry. He's got good passing range. He likes to tackle. He reminds me a bit of what Kouyaté was like when he first joined us.
Yeah.
He'd be all over the middle of the park, making tackles here and there. Got a good shot on him. Scored obviously a goal against Southampton, even though it was a deflection, but still he did make the deflection happen. And I think that, you know, I've heard a rumour about a couple of hours ago that we could be going for Moyes as well from Huddersfield, and I'd love us to get either him or, you know, a player of that ilk.
Just on that, look, was he not the player that you had wanted for quite a while back earlier in January, wasn't it?
Do you know what? Over the last week or so, I've seen about 3 players linked to us that I really wanted to get that were realistic, but I just thought the club wouldn't go for it, i.e. Moyes, Shaqiri, and hopefully my prediction comes in that Davis comes to us as well, because I'm a really big fan of him. So he's my one player to look out for. You know, so yeah, Davis for me, the one player.
Look, I don't know if we've got an Everton fan in the chat just now, but he's saying he's a Scouser, but he can wholeheartedly say the whole stadium will be united under the hatred of
yeah.
I'll try and do it without swearing this time. Of gravy breasts, Sam Allardyce. He's also said a man to watch for Everton is Cenk Tosun.
Yeah, they're not players.
Yeah. Seen him play a few times and he scored a few goals. He looks dangerous. Looks like a real good number 9. That's what Mitchell's saying, and yeah, I agree with you. And tell you what, Everton, not just Everton, any team that comes up against West Ham right now at the Olympic Stadium, it doesn't matter whether it's we're safe and it's the end of the season, as we've seen against Liverpool last year. We can still get destroyed quite easily with the leaky defence that we have, because we are still the team that's conceded the most goals in the league. But do you know what? I'm looking forward to Sunday more for the fact that we're going to have a right good kind of meet up and have a good laugh, and hopefully, because I could tell, and I don't know what your impression was of the atmosphere last night, but through the television I could see or hear that it seemed quite decent last night. Look,
yeah, it was. It was quite not flat, but I think it was mellowed. I think everyone, you know, it's a Thursday night. There's nothing to play for. You know, everyone's got sort of. There's a lot of people in suits, obviously come from work and whatever like that. It's not going to be a London rivalry atmosphere. You know, Man United, as big a team as they are, they don't get the juices flowing like a lot of years back they might have been. And the funny thing is that Man United were sort of wasting time as well towards the end of the game last night, considering the fact that, you know, if anyone should have been going for it out of the two, I think it was probably Man United, just for maybe pride's sake. But no, look, there were times when West Ham fans got a song out, or they started giving it to the players, or whatever. It was good. It was good. It wasn't a horrible atmosphere. It was a good atmosphere. It wasn't brilliant, but I mean, the Man United fans were singing as well. You know, they were giving it theirs, but then we started giving it back to them as well. That was kind of like, you know, I wasn't expecting much, and it wasn't, you know, anything bad. So atmosphere wise, it wasn't going to get a lot better than that. And for the football on display, it was good when there's a few pockets where we played maybe a bit poorly in front of our own goal, and we gave balls away and they had a few shots, and it was a bit like the crowd were moaning and all sorts of stuff. But it wasn't a horrible atmosphere, and there were times where we pushed, and Adavic might have had a shot, went a few past a few players, and the crowd got up for it and gave a clap. And especially when when the fight happened between Noble and Pogba, almost the whole stadium got up and gave their opinion on it and backed Noble. And that was like, there has been a joke going saying that was the most entertaining thing in the whole game, but you know, that was kind of like a, you know, right, let's get our money's worth here. And for then there was coming new wise chance it was unfair of blowing bubbles. So towards the end of the game, it was more, you know, especially if, also I will say this, the ref got his opinion from the fans. They told him what they thought of him, and towards the end, I think when the final whistle blew, fans wanted to boo the referee, but then they thought the players would think they're booing them for getting a 0-0 and a pretty cheery performance. So it was kind of like a small boo, but then everyone clapped and went home again. So yeah, it weren't bad, but it wasn't brilliant either. But it was never going to be brilliant. So, you know, it was nice. It was a nice game to watch.
Of course it was. Well, Of course, it wasn't your opinion.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm low lone range with that opinion. So come at me, people. Come at me. It's fine.
Potentially another goodbye from a player that was rumoured to be leaving. Don't know where this rumour came from yesterday. So, one that I wouldn't be surprised about. We're going to kind of come to the tail end of this just now. And just one player I want to bring up is Manuel Lanzini. A kind of rumour out of the blue yesterday was that Liverpool had agreed a deal to take Lanzini to Liverpool. First question I want to ask you is he worth 50 million? Second question is, would he play in Liverpool's team or would he be benched? And third question is, do you actually think he's going to stay or do you think he's going to go? Whatever order you think that goes in.
Yep. No, I'll do. I'll try and do snippets in very short answers. Basically, on his day, considering the market we've got, because players' prices are overblown completely from but that's the business. 50 million is maybe not worth that, but I think for the fact that we haven't got many players right now to replace him, maybe possibly João Mario can do that, but he's not maybe as quick as Lanzini. For us to sell him, I'm just trying to. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to be respectful and all that sort of stuff. I don't know why I'm trying to be respectful, but I am. For us to lose him, we need to compensate ourselves, meaning we shouldn't take any less than 50 million due to the market that we're in. I don't think he'd get straight into the Liverpool team. I think he'd work his way into it. But like I said the other night in the group chat, I think it depends if Liverpool win the Champions League or not. If they are confirmed European champions, they'll have a lot more pull for the top players. They will want to come and play for the European champions in the Premier League, who are in the Champions League. And if they lose, they're just another runner-up, who like an almost team against Real Madrid. Which I'm saying that as respectful as I can to Liverpool. I like Liverpool as a club. I think they're an iconic club. But and the third one would be, yes, if he could see the club weren't going to improve on where we've already gone, because I think these players can tell whether things get spun by the board saying we want to do this, we want to bring in this player, we want to go for this. But if you're not bringing in the players that will get you to that level, you're not going to go anywhere. And I think it depends what offers he gets. I think if he gets an offer of decent money, because let's face it, most players just leave money in that place. If they look at their pay packet and see it's 50 to 100 grand more in their packet, they're going to go wherever they are. So 50 million, not worth, but we'll take it minimum. No, he wouldn't get straight into the Liverpool squads, but yes, he would leave if the money and the circumstances were right. That's as literally as clean cut as I can put it.
No, that's fine, mate. I'll give you my quick take on it before we kind of close down this preview. Do I think he would leave? Yes. Do I think West Ham would accept £50 million for him? Yes. Do I think he would get into the Liverpool side if he were signed in the summer and was playing next season? I'm going to say yes, based on the fact that Jurgen Klopp is their manager and he is profoundly renowned for bringing in not always the top level player and making them that top level player. And one player I can always use as an example, and everyone can use as an example, it's Mo Salah, what he's done for him this season in particular. But you can probably look around that whole side within reason and see a rejuvenated Liverpool side of players that were previously getting absolutely ripped at international level. Oxlade-Chamberlain for one example, and he's brought him out to be potentially another the top quality player that people knew, or Arsenal youth player knew. They've got that boy, I can't pronounce his name, the boy they signed from Newcastle, and he's potentially going to be playing in a Champions League final. Do you know what I mean? And you're talking about these level of players. Lanzini's recognised in the Argentinian squad, and is potentially going to be starting, or will be hopefully playing in and around that area. So for me, if he does go, I would be massively disappointed. Yes, he has gone missing during certain games this season, but I also believe he has carried our side along with certain other players for the previous couple of seasons before that. So I think sometimes a professional footballer is allowed to go missing. Well, you don't want them ever to go missing, but if they do, it doesn't mean we need to sell them. It doesn't mean we need to panic and we need to go, oh, you haven't pulled your socks up. If his head's been turned, it's been turned for a reason. I don't want him to go. Can I see him happening? Yes. Will West Ham accept £50 million? Yes. Is it realistic? Yes. And in my opinion, would he play for Liverpool? Yeah. So that's it. Short and sweet.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. Look, let's just get straight to the point before we close it off. score predictions for Sunday.
Oh shit! I forgot about this. Okay. Oh, I said 2-1 last night to West Ham, and it was 0-0. It was 0-0 last time we played Everton at home last season rather. We lost 4. Do you know what? Sorry.
Do you want me to go first? Take the
Yeah.
pressure.
Okay.
I'm going to go for a party atmosphere. United in chants and lots of goals, entertaining football, and a 4-3 victory to West Ham at home. Lots
Okay.
and lots and lots of entertainment on Sunday because we do not expect it. We've got two managers fighting. Well, whether or not they're fighting for their contracts, we don't know, but the battle of the managers and players that might surprise us, i.e. Hugo's. Some other players might pop up into the ranks. So 4-3 West Ham on Sunday. Be a nice little finish off to the season, to the lovely season we've had.
Yeah,
Luke,
one way of putting it.
Over to you.
Yeah. Whatever you've been drinking tonight, can you bring along with you on Sunday, please? Because I'm going to need a lot of that.
Don't worry, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's fine.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, no. Yeah. Just reminding me. I think I'm just going to go with a nice and easy 1-0. I think neither team are going to go for it gung ho. And like we mentioned earlier, 1-0, Hugo will score. Hugo will be the goal scorer. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to come on, if he's going to start, if he does even make an appearance. But yeah, I think a 1-0. I think I'd take a win. 10th place, what have you? Can't say no to that.
What is it they say? Painting over the cracks. Painting over.
Yeah.
Anyway,
paints over the many cracks.
Yeah, true. Well, listen, that rounds off our preview of the Everton game. Can't believe it's the last preview of our first season as YouTube connoisseurs, who could probably call us now. It's our debut season.
Gonna shed a tear now.
What I'm going to say is, obviously, we're going to be back with a review. The review is going to be quite interesting because, in actual fact, we're all meeting up and we're all going to do it together on one video, which will be quite cool. So make sure you are subscribing to our channel, putting the thumbs up, writing the comments, etc. We are going to keep going with some videos over the summer. We've got the World Cup coming in. It might not be as much content coming up through it, but we're going to be working hard through the summer in preparation for the next season. And we'll also do a big review of the season. We might make it a reasonably long video and try and get everyone involved in that. So if anyone, again, like I said, is interested in coming on, please let us know. But for now, it is Friday evening. If you're watching this tomorrow, it's going to be Saturday evening. If you watch it on Sunday, it's going to be Sunday morning, depending on when you watch this video. Very random, but true.
Or Sunday night game, what the fuck they're talking about.
Exactly. Let's hope that we finish off the season with a Jordan Hugo hat-trick and a to West Ham. Anyway, he's been Luke. I've been Anton. We've been Irons United. Come on.
Irons.